Hi there, and welcome to our webinar on how to bust the weight loss myth. We are Sylwia and Rosemarie, but we'll explain a little bit more about that. And today we want to just talk to you about your nutrition and your mindset and how you can look past the stories you've been telling yourself about the challenges around this topic and what you can do differently. So we're here to support you on the nutrition side of things and the mindset, so how you can encompass the two things to really support you on your journey. So I am Rosemarie Wilson. I'll tell you a little bit more about me, as I said, and I'm going to introduce to you now Sylwia Razak, who is a registered nutritional therapist and health coach, and we work really well together. Sylwia sees someone around the nutritional side of things, and she's really great at that, and then perhaps there's something else going on with the client, and then she'll introduce them to me. So we work really well together. So, but anyway, let Sylwia explain that to you rather than me telling you about Sylwia. Go ahead, Sylwia.
Thank you, Rosemary. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's really a privilege to have you with us. My name is Sylwia. I'm a nutritional therapist and health coach. And I became a nutritional therapist because I was inspired by my own story, what happened to me. In my past life, I worked in a corporate company where I really pushed, and I think that story is very familiar to many women. I really pushed, didn't have much time for myself to take care of myself. And with time, I become really badly fatigued. I had IBS and also lots of hormonal issue. So I turned into a nutritional therapy, and I met a wonderful person who really helped me to turn my health around within 6 months. And after that, I become so inspired how sometimes simple changes can make a profound effect on your health. So today I work mainly with women. I help them with digestive issue, with hormonal issue, with skin, but also with weight loss. So I work with Rosemarie quite a lot. I refer her my clients, and we worked quite closely, and she helped my clients with the mindset, because sometimes there are a little bit deeper challenges that clients face, and Rosemarie is wonderful. So Rosemarie, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Sylwia, for that lovely introduction. I really appreciate that. So my name is Rosemarie Wilson, as I keep saying, I think it's the third time I've said it. I'm a certified and accredited mindset coach and an NLP practitioner. So I used to also be in the corporate world, and my thing was, I saw things that were going on, especially with professional women, how they didn't look after their health well, and the sort of self-doubt as they climb the ranks. So my focus really is, I work with women who are really struggling with their self-doubt and emotional challenges and wellness. My background is that I was diagnosed with MS in 2003, and I recognized that I had to change my lifestyle and my life. So the first thing is I don't do stress. I have different methodologies that I use for managing my stress so that it doesn't even sort of reach me. And I also look after my nutrition, and I exercise regularly with strength training. I don't deny myself food, but I really do look after myself very well. So I want to share some of that with you, so you can see that both Sylwia and I are, we have the experience of what it takes to really change your life around. So we're not coming from just a professional point of view, we're coming from having lived it. So we want to share some of our professional expertise and personal expertise to really help and support you on your journey. So today we're going to cover with you an introduction to blood balancing, understand what a balanced meal really should look like, learn how to implement the basic rules of nutrition so that you never have to diet again, recognize the stages of behavioral change. So if you want something different, what do you need to do in your mind space, your thought space? Identify your motivational factors. What are your why? What is your why for a healthier lifestyle? Maybe you'll have multiple whys. Introduce the concept of micro goals. We all know what goal setting is, so just introduce those small steps to take you to your big goal. Learn how to use visual imagery to really support you in achieving your goals. And we'll also have some questions and answers at the end of the session, Q&A, so that we'll get to answer some of your questions. It is an hour or just over, so we'll just try and get to as much as we can. So I'd like to pass you back over to my colleague Sylwia who will speak to you about the nutritional side of things. I'm just going to hand over the mouse to Sylwia so she can get going with that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Rosemarie. Yes, for some reason, again, it disappeared. I can't really...
Okay.
Yes, right here.
Is that your first slide?
Yes,
okay, great.
Yes, awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So let's start looking at the wellness lifestyle pyramid. Straightforward, you can see how, you know, what you need to do in your lifestyle to really achieve wellness. So your health is in optimal toxic load, self-care, and proactive medical care. So in some clients, you know, I can see that, and actually, no, maybe not clients, maybe in general, people have that pyramid upside down. So when something goes wrong, the first instance, they will go to a doctor to get some medication to fix them right away. And we're forgetting that actually the lifestyle, you know, what we're doing on a daily basis actually has a profound effect on your health, right? So instead of thinking what medication to take, I would definitely think, you know, what I'm eating, how much I exercise, how I can support my body to have optimal health, so I have a less instances or less problems to go to the GP. Obviously, the doctors are there for a purpose. They save our lives. I have nothing against that, but what I'm trying to say is that it's a great idea to take responsibility of your health and start, you know, implementing those simple things into your life so you can enjoy your life and you have a great, you know, fantastic health. So let's start with eating right. That's something, you know, that I teach people on daily basis. I'm very passionate about nutrition, and the reason is that you are what you eat. And it's actually literally, you are what you eat, because every molecule that you put in your mouth, every food that you put in your mouth turns in a body into the cells, or it turns into energy. So literally, whatever you're putting in your body is using it as a building block. So the nutrition will determine, you know, how you look, how you feel, even how you think, because that will have effect on your neurotransmitters, and it will determine how healthy you are. As simple as that. Then we have exercise. You know, there's lots of studies coming out that saying that lack of exercise or low levels of exercise is as damaging as smoking cigarettes. So something that keep in mind that, you know, it could be just movement, just more walking, because we drive quite a lot, right, these days. We take trains, so just a simple exercise, simple moving is very, very important for our bodies. Then we have a rest, very important, because that's during the night when we sleep, our body is able to rebuild, rejuvenate, repair ourselves. So very, very important to take time to rest. Stress, you know, is everywhere. I think it's epidemic, isn't it? We all, you know, we are stress creatures, really, and it comes from, you know, a surrounding, comes from our bodies as well, from the inside, if anything is not going right. So managing stress is a key to optimize your health. We will maybe speak about that a little bit later. Then toxic load. It's a big topic, so I'll just quickly tell you that we're surrounded by chemicals and toxins in our environment. It comes through water, it comes from food, you know, pesticides, herbicides, additives, preservatives, you know, all the processed foods come with the chemicals, come with the toxins that our body are very, you know, have a very difficult time to process and to eliminate. Also, everything that you put on your skin, our skin is super porous, so very porous. So everything, you know, kind of create a load of our body that may trigger some kind of a negative effects. Self-care, extremely important. It's such a popular, I think, topic these days, self-care, because we completely forget about that. That is such a, you know, such a huge importance. Self-care is in our lives, because it's the time that when you can start thinking about, you know, what I eat, what I need to eat, how I need to exercise, how I need to sleep and rest, because we constantly busy, aren't we? We are on this little treadmill constantly, And especially for women, we are programmed to take care of everyone else, to take care of you, making sure everyone else is well, and we forgot about ourselves. So this is a kind of a simple picture of what you need to think about when you think about your lifestyle. So you can put a few things in practice that really makes that lifestyle working for you, right? For your optimal health. And the next slide is kind of want to show you, if you can.
I've just handed you over the remote control, so maybe
it's not showing now.
Waiting for Sylwia to control your screen, it says. Okay.
Yes, it's just like I have like a black panel at the bottom and I can't change it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
there you go. I think that's for you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So let's think about why dieting doesn't work, because when we lots of women sometimes think about I have to diet, I have to lose weight. They not many of them think, let me start eating healthier, let me support my body, let me take care of myself, so my body looks better and I feel better, right? We always jump into this diets, and unfortunately diets work only for 5 minutes, and as soon as you stop dieting, as soon as you're going into your old bad habits, what happens? The weight comes back. So it's not really a solution. It's not really a long-term solution. The problem with dieting is that more you diet, when you go on this the kind of a yo-yo dieting where you lose weight and put weight on, that really mess up your metabolism. And it's with time it will get harder and harder to lose weight, because it creates this imbalance, hormonal imbalance in your body, that then kind of enable you to lose weight. So so the most important thing is starting to take care of yourself and think about how I can eat healthier, how I can create a healthier habits that then will prevent me to gain weight and will support my body so I feel fantastic. So I could talk to you about for hour about different diets. It's not really let's not waste time on this. Let's think about what you can change in your diet to achieve what you really want. The next slide will show you, it's within the history how we looked and how we changed. So our bodies were very lean and quite muscular. It's because probably we moved constantly and we had to hunt for our food, and the lifestyle was completely different. But you can see what's going on with our bodies now. We're just getting bigger and probably less fit and sicker, right? So we start having more and more problem with our health. And it's probably because we don't move enough, and then the convenience, we have food everywhere. If you think about it, whatever you are, there's a food available. And that's, I think it's a problem, that our meals are overloaded with simple carbohydrates, with sugar, things that actually, make us put weight on, and I will explain actually why. So the next slide shows you how our diet differ from the Stone Age. So you can see that we have much less protein in our diet these days. We have a much higher fat, and it's that trans fat. It's just that fat that actually is it's loaded in processed foods, vegetable oils, and so on. So that's the bad fat that we consume on a daily basis increased. Then we have obviously higher carbohydrates, much less fiber. This is a big one. So it's almost half what we used to eat in fiber, much more sugar and much more salt. So this is quite interesting, because it exactly shows you what's the problem in our diet these days. Diet, we have not enough protein, we have too much unhealthy fat, too much simple carbohydrates, too much sugar, and not enough fiber, and obviously too much salt as well. That's causing lots of cardiovascular issues. So in the next slide, I will show you Fantastic. Thank you, Rosemary. The next slide, it shows you the sugar curve, right? So it's the glucose curve and how it affects your blood sugar level. So very simple. When we start eating in the morning, your blood sugar will raise quite quickly. Then when, what happens in the body when we have too much sugar, too much glucose in bloodstream, it's quite toxic for the body. So you can see it very clearly in diabetes, for example, where the sugar damaged the tissue. And our body has this amazing mechanism that releases the insulin to bring that sugar down. So the insulin is released, and insulin is like a taxi. It will bind to the glucose and it will distribute it to the cells. Now, if the cells are packed with sugar, right, because you've been eating quite a high sugar-loaded diet, meals, they will say, no, we packed, I don't want any more. And simply speaking, the insulin will direct those sugars, excess sugars, into your liver, where it's going to be turned into your fat tissue. So actually, it's the sugar that is the worst offender. It makes us really unwell, because when you go down, with the sugar go down, that's where you feel the energy slumps, right? It usually happens mid-morning and then afternoons, and that makes you tired, makes you sluggish. You may have low mood, issue of concentration, but also where the anxiety kicks in as well. So naturally you will want to have a boost again. You want to feel better. So what you're going to do, you're going to go for a stimulant. So like coffee, with biscuits, chocolate, something that is available very quickly around you, because the body will try to get a quick source of energy, and sugar will be one to go. So then we're going ups and downs throughout the day. So we are in a high after lunch, and then within a few hours the sugar will drop. You will have an energy drop. You will go for coffee and stimulant again and something sweet. So we're going throughout the day like on a roller coaster. So the high sugar and the high insulin will have a tremendous effect on your hormones as well. So not only the weight, but for female especially, your hormones will start being imbalanced. Also, your moods, so low moods, anxiety would be affected as well. So if you want kind of stabilize your energy levels, if you want to stabilize your hormones, and then also have control on your weight, right? So have a stable weight, balancing your blood sugar level will be the key. And it's a very easy way to balance it. It's really not a rocket science. The most important thing is, that's what we saw on the previous slides. You need to have enough protein with each meal. You have to have a lot of fiber, good fats, and then reduce the simple carbohydrates and sugars. That's the only thing what you need to do. So the next slide, you can see a very nice infographic made by British Association of Nutritional Therapists. And you can see that's a picture of the plate. So the quarter of your plate should be the protein. And when we think about protein, we think about eggs, seeds and nuts, meat, fish, lentils, beans, the pulses, also quinoa, fermented tempeh, fermented soya tempeh, for example. So that's your protein. Proteins are very important because they not only are the building blocks for your muscle, but also building blocks for your hormones, neurotransmitters. Proteins are very important for detoxification processes in the liver as well, and it's a building block for your skin, for everything. So very important to include it. And then protein, protein with carbohydrates and fiber, and so complex carbohydrates, fiber, and good fat will make sure that the sugar is released slower from the foods, right? So the energy will be released much slower and for much longer time, so you feel much more satisfied after meals. So have the protein with each meal. Then the half of your plate should be the vegetables. Vegetables are the fiber from our foods. So that's when we think about a complex carbohydrate. So that's your vegetables. The colors are very important because each color will provide different antioxidants, different vitamins, minerals, but also phytochemicals. And phytochemicals in vegetables is the medicine in food when we usually talk about that, right? So it's that medicine that supports your health and loads of different pathways in the body. And then we have the last quarter, we have whole grains and root vegetables. So I usually will always advise my clients to reduce the simple carbohydrates and replace them with whole grains. So for example, brown rice, quinoa, buckwheat, also root vegetables instead of white things. So white rice, white wheat, right? And then sugar. So we want to create a nicely balanced meals to slow the release of sugars and balance the sugars level, so you have a very nice high energy throughout the day and you feel quite strong, and easily you can then lose weight naturally. To this picture we need to add good fats as well. So we're thinking about extra virgin olive oil, ghee, clarified butter, coconut oil, but also hemp seeds oil, avocado oil, and seeds and nuts itself. Avocado as a whole food, fantastic. And the last not least, the fruits. Fruits are fantastic, great source of fiber, but also antioxidants. So we should have about 2 portions a day. And the next slide, I will show you examples. So what you can have for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. So that's how a balanced meal should look like. So for example, for breakfast, we have an overnight soaked porridge. So you just use normal oats, soak them in water, and then you can cook them very, very quickly in the morning. And so the oats are going to be your fiber, and we need to add protein. So I would suggest to have 2 tablespoons of seeds and nuts, which are going to be the protein, and then berries for antioxidants, and just getting a little bit of sweetness in the porridge, which is quite nice. And then we have eggs, fantastic. I love eggs, great source of protein, but also the egg yolk has lots of vitamins and minerals in it. And you can have it with some vegetables as well, so some avocado, tomatoes, and if you like some breads, but I would definitely go to something more heavier, more denser, like artisan, for example, sourdough bread, which is, because it contains full grains that are not processed, the sugars will be released much slower from it. So they're not going, bread like that is not going to affect your blood sugar level. Instead, like for example, when you think about, usually we have the white toast, the studies shows that white toast will affect your blood sugar level much faster than a teaspoon of sugar. So when you think about breakfast, think about the protein and what fiber you're going to have it with it. So then you will satisfy it for much longer, and it will be less need for snacking. And then you should not have any slump of energy before lunch. So lunch, we all love salads. So we always need to remember to add a little bit of protein to it as well. So balance it nicely. So beans, eggs, fish, and chicken are great addition to it. And the wraps are fantastic ways to replace our traditional sandwiches, because this way you reduce the simple carbohydrates, right? So instead of having fluffy bread, you have a nice wrap. So these days you can have a sweet potato wrap, quinoa wraps as well, I've seen. And then you can fill it up with lots of goodness inside, right? So vegetables and some protein. So you're reducing the simple carbs, adding, what's the good thing? So vegetables and protein. And then we have dinner. So for example, wild baked salmon with vegetables, you can see nicely balanced again. So we have a good portion of protein, loads of colorful vegetables. This is fantastic meal. Then bean chili with baked sweet potato. I love chili because you can add so much stuff in it, so much green leafy vegetables, for example. Just chop lots of whatever you have in a fridge, cooked with beans and served with sweet potato. Really nicely balanced meal. And then snacks. Let's not forget about snacks. So snacks should be high in protein as well to, again, support your blood sugar level. So we try to stabilize it. Protein and fiber is the key things. So again, you can see hummus, which is a protein, and loads of vegetables. And fruits can be used for snacks as well. And I would suggest to have it with a few nuts or apple with almond butter, fantastic. Almond butter with oat cakes will be a good snack as well. And this snacks will give you energy. It's not going to drain you, and it's not going to put you on this roller coaster again. So now let's talk about the simple rules, right? What can you do today? Because you can start the changes today, because those things are fairly simple. We all know it. It's just like, it's good as a reminder. And if you put in practice, you're going to be very quickly, you're going to have a great results. So again, number one, for blood sugar balancing, eat regular meals. Don't skip the meals, especially breakfast, because that will put you very quickly on the roller coaster. So have 3 meals a day, and when you start, have snacks, healthy snacks in between, because your body will be quite sensitive to sugar. So you want to make sure you eat every 3-4 hours. Later on, you can reduce the snacking, so you just feel it, listen to your body, and have it when you need it. Number 2, eat protein with each meal. That's what I usually tell to my clients, that when you prepare your meals or when you buy it, always first thing, what protein I'm going to have, right? So you choose the protein first, and then you build the vegetables around it. And again, try to top up the vegetables as much as you can. So visually have a half of your plate of vegetables. These days, the guidelines are that we should have about 7 to 10 portions of vegetables a day, and not 5. 5 is not enough anymore. That's according to the scientists. We should top it up and have as much as possible, up to 2 portions. The portion is about a size of your palm. Is again, the vegetables bring lots of fiber, and they are medicine. So lots of goodness to improve our health and keep us healthy. Number 4, choose the right type and quantity of carbs. So again, it goes to this simple technique to replace the simple carbohydrates with complex carbohydrates. Simple carbohydrates is everything that is white, right? So white flour, white sugar, and sometimes I would add milk to it as well, because it creates quite a lot of problems in our bodies, especially for adults. So stay away from that and replace it with whole foods, vegetables, fruits, for example, and whole grains as well. So things like if you have pasta, have whole grain pasta, right? Or have quinoa instead. So try to replace those simple carbs with quality complex carbohydrates. Now, number 5, eat good fat. So we've been brainwashed for a decade probably now that the fat is causing a weight gain. But now we know that it's not the fat; it's actually the sugar that is the worst offender. So if you have a good healthy fats, that's not going to badly affect your health. So things about stuff like have a good half or even a whole avocado a day, and seeds and nuts, and fats like extra virgin olive oil, ghee, which is clarified butter, a little bit of coconut oil, and so on. So don't be afraid of fats. Minimize refined foods and sugars. So again, comes to thinking about having a whole foods. Even when you don't have time to cook these days, there's so much choice of really good foods prepared that you can have. Look into your healthier kind of aisle in a supermarket. You will be able to find something. When you think about what protein and how much, what vegetables are going to have, just think that way, and then you'll be able to find something accessible everywhere these days. Drink 8 glasses of water, including herbal teas every day. I mean, water is very, very important. It hydrates us, but also take part in many processes in the body. For example, digestive processes, detoxification processes, but also water is a key element for the energy production. So the first signs of dehydration will be being tired and headaches, for example. So when you have those symptoms, think about how much water I had today, and then just top it up and try to make sure to drink it every day. There is this thing sometimes that when you feel hungry, you actually might be thirsty. So there might be imbalance in hormones, and the signaling will be will not be right. So when you feel hungry, have a glass of water, see how you feel. That will also give you a little bit more time to think what you can have, and your decision processes are going to be a bit better, and you're going to choose something that is healthier. Remove any intolerances if possible. This is quite a big topic, and a quite popular topic recently. Is that when you have a food intolerances, I mean, you may not know that you have them actually, because they will show in a different symptoms. It could be headaches, migraines, it could be any skin problems, it could be digestive problems like bloating, diarrhea, constipation. So there's loads of symptoms that can be hiding under the food intolerances. So it's a good thing to kind of think about. First thing that you may notice is, for example, bloating and how tired you feel after certain meals. So finding it is important because it may have a huge impact on your weight struggles. So weight gain or weight loss, even depending how it affects your body. And also it will create the inflammatory processes in your body that really negatively affect your health. So work with nutritional therapists, or just these days you can go and do a test even yourself and determine that. Number 9, minimize alcohol and caffeine. I believe in a rule and 80-20. So everything is for us, everything is okay, but you need to kind of balance it, right? So if, have a glass of wine here and there, especially red wine, it's absolutely fine. Is the problem comes where you start using alcohol as a stimulant, or, when you feel low, you cannot sleep, or, excessive drinking at parties and so on. That's where the problem happens, where it's just overloads your liver and causes lots of problems. And so obviously alcohol is a sugar as well, so it will have an impact on your weight. Caffeine, huge topic. I could probably speak about caffeine for a very long time, but quickly, caffeine is a stimulant. It will have indirect effect on your cortisol level, so it's your stress level, and then cortisol will affect your blood sugar level. It kicks in, so caffeine can trigger the fight and flight response in your body. So when you stress and you have lots of coffees during the day, you're putting oil into the fire. You make things worse. And the caffeine, the way it affects your blood sugar level, because when you are in a fight and fight response, your body will try to feed the muscle. So will increase the sugar in your blood stream to feed the muscle and run from the tiger, for example, right? So caffeine, if you want to lose weight, if you want to be healthier, kind of in control, it's not really your friend. Also, it makes your body quite acidic. So the body will try to buffer that, and it will leach lots of nutrients, lots of minerals from your bones, for example. So it's not really a drink that I use, to kind of support your energy. It's actually, with the time, it will make it worse, right? So it's a stimulant again. Remember, it's a stimulant, and if it's used, for example, to stimulate to survive the day, right? It's not, you need to think about that. If you have it sometimes in the afternoon after a nice meal because you like it, it's fine. And number 10, aim for 8 hours sleep at night. So again, thinking about sleeping, about sleep, think about, it's a time when your body can restore, rebuild, repair. very, very important. It can calm your brain, and the next day you feel rejuvenated and ready for action again. So these days, the sleep problems are almost epidemic. I think we too fast, too busy, and don't have time to relax in the evening. We're bombarded by the information. We use lots of blue light in phones and tablets, and the blue light has an extreme effect on your melatonin production. So it's the sleep hormone that shuts down the brain and the body so you can rest and relax and sleep. So try to avoid blue light as much as possible in the evening so you can have a restful sleep. There's lots of studies showing that sleep will have an effect on your cravings as well. So people who don't sleep well or not enough will have a higher cravings for simple carbohydrates, which is a cry for energy. So always when you have a sweet kind of sweet cravings, your body needs energy. So sleeping for 8 hours will really give you control over that, right? Over your choices. So you're not going to go straight to the sweet things. You're going to make a different choice. So sleeping and prioritize sleeping, giving yourself time in the evening to wind down and have a restful sleep is the key for the well-being. So I hope it's not too much information at once. Rosemarie will help you how to put things into action, how to plan and how to set the goals and just go for it. So that's the simple 10 rules that if you follow very quickly, you will see that your energy will be better. You will be able to control your weight loss, right? So the weight will naturally your body will trim it without much effort if you follow this. And this is something that you can do to the rest of your life. That's something that will help you not to die and not to jump on the dieting kind of spiral. So definitely go for it. And Rosemarie will tell you now how you need to work on your mindset to be able to implement things like this into your life. Thank you. Rosemarie, can you take?
My mouse had disappeared.
Okay.
So it's back again. So I'm muted. I was muted before because I didn't want to interrupt you.
Okay, no problem.
Great. Thank you very much, Sylwia, for that explanation. It's the science and some practical steps that you can really start implementing, as you said today, right now, your next meal. So yes. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. This is the mindset piece. So I'm going to follow up with all Sylwia's wonderful nutritional advice and really give you the tools to start thinking differently, because that's what mindset coaching is. It's about how can I think differently to support what it is that I actually say I want or what I really, really want. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Use that as your mantra and return to it and revisit it every day. In simple steps, we're here to help you to eat differently and to think differently. Energy in, as Sylwia has explained, you know what some of the basics are. If you think about the quality of your energy in, and then think about how do you move? What's the energy out? What do you need to function on a daily basis? What do you need to do your exercise? If the two balance each other out, energy in and energy out, you'll be even. If there is a surplus, i.e. you're eating more than you're moving, you'll gain weight. If there is a deficit, you will lose weight. That's the simple science behind it. But we're not here to talk about if you have the great foundations of food, you will naturally lose weight anyway because you'll be changing what you're eating. And that's what we're advocating. Not watching the scales and the calories. We're advocating good energy in and moving more. Walking, if you don't like exercise, just walk more. That's the message we want to share with you today. Here are some of the common reasons behind why you fail when you say you want to eat healthier. It's the weekend, so you think you deserve a day off or two off. I'm not going to go through them. You can see them, you can read them. Pick one or two of them out. Maybe you're all of them. Which one is you? My other half influences what I eat. So he eats big, or he or she eats big portions and different types of food. And then you think, oh, I'm going to eat what he's eating. You've got very different body stages. So body stages, body sizes, body characteristics. If your partner's a male, if your partner is female and still eating what they want to eat, then think about, if they're burning it off and you want to do something differently, think about what you can do to really influence your own eating. So just think about what's in it for me. What's the healthiest option for me in that respect there? I deserve a treat. That's another one. We all do that. Well, but you don't always deserve a treat. You can have a different type of treat. Have some fruit, make some banana bread for yourself that you can slice up and put in the freezer. There's lots of different ways you can have treats. I don't like to waste food, so you eat your kids' food. Put it in a Tupperware, use it for lunch tomorrow. I'm too busy. Choose time. We're all busy. We choose to make time to be healthy. Find a way to choose your time. So just start thinking differently about how you look after yourself. I can't cook. There's lots of meals in the supermarkets that are healthier. You can find ways around it. I don't enjoy cooking for one. That's another one. There are also meals for one in the supermarket, or I'll get onto that later on about recipes, batch cooking, how you can cook for one and really make it work. So there's lots of common reasons here, but I call it the excuses board. So if you recognize any of these, we're going to start getting you into the habit of changing how you think and really looking for things that help you and support you on your wellness journey. Now, this great side is about behavioral change. I'm going to try and give you the kind of psyche behind the way you think and behind behavioral change. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'm just going to start you off so you can start to think how you can implement some of the rules for changing your lifestyle or some of the habits. Pre-contemplation is when you do not want to change. You don't recognize there's anything that you want different. You don't recognize there's anything wrong. You're happy in your land of unawareness, innocence, as it were. So that's the pre-contemplation stage. You then move on to the contemplation stage. You recognize that you want something different. You recognize maybe there's something wrong, there's something with your health. You want to give something up. This diagram was created by, I think it's Prochaska and Diamante, and it was actually around helping people to quit smoking. But it can be used for lots of other things, so including nutrition, exercise, quitting any other unhealthy habits. So as I was saying, you're back to the contemplation side. You recognize something, you want to change something. Then you move on to preparation. You might be on this webinar because you are contemplating change. So then you move into the preparation stage. What do I need to do differently? What foods do I need to start eating? How do I need to think differently? What can I do? I've got unhealthy habits. How can I change them? Who can I get to support me? Those are the types of questions you start asking for preparation. Then you take action. You create your meal plan. You get someone to help you to create a meal plan. You follow it. You implement it. You start thinking differently. Instead of having cakes with your work colleagues, you start moving on to, I don't need the cake. I've got some fruit that I brought in, or some banana bread that I made earlier. I'm going to use that, or something else. You've got things in your bag that you can use instead of going to the sweet trolley or to what your colleagues have brought in. Then you move on to maintenance. These things have now become a habit for you. You're understanding how things work. You're understanding how things can change. So at this stage, when you're on the maintenance stage, you've still got to look out because things can slip you up. You might go down the relapse stage where you go back around the cycle, or you say, right, this is my lifestyle. I'm going to change. I'm going to implement this, and I want this for the rest of my life. If you do go down the relapse stage, the good thing about that is you will already have some information that you can just put back into use. So don't give up. Just keep trying. If it's your lifestyle, it's great. Then you can influence other people, and that's a wonderful space to be. Making a decision means cutting yourself off means committing to achieving a result and then cutting yourself off from any other possibility. So you're going through the red door and you're not tempted by what's through any other door. You're sticking to it and you're making a decision. And that is what choosing a healthy lifestyle is all about. You make a decision. Today, I'm going to look after my health and well-being better. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's simple. Start with the decision. Make that decision for yourself, and then start putting the things and tools and techniques and tips in place to really help you on your journey. The why. What is your why? What is your motivational factor? What is it that you want to achieve at the end of your journey? It could be your health. Maybe the doctors told you that you are struggling with something. Perhaps you're diabetic. Or maybe you just want to look after your health. Maybe just realize that I want to feel fitter and healthier. I want to feel magical each day. That's health. Aesthetics. You want to look more for yourself. You want to fit into your jeans, let's say, your skinny jeans. You want to get into your skinny jeans. And you want to look in the mirror, and that's something for you. That's your aesthetics, how you look. Your emotion. You want to feel better about yourself. Is it that you're fed up of waking up and feeling not great and not good about yourself? So your emotion, it could be something you want to feel differently. What is your why? Your legacy, your future. Perhaps you've got children. What do you want to leave behind? What do you want to be remembered for? How do you want to influence your children? How do you want them to think of you? A healthy, wonderful, loving mother or father running around with energy, or stuck on the couch watching Netflix and chilling and not doing much? How do you want to be remembered? Your future. What do you want your future to look like? Do you want to be the old lady or old man sitting in a rocking chair? Or do you want to be someone who is still active 60, 70, 80 at those ages? What is it that you want? Find your motivational factor and make that the focus of what you want. What's your reason for being on this webinar? Why are you listening to it? What is it that you want to get out of it? What has stopped you so far on your wellness journey? What true decision can you make today to commit to your health and well-being? Don't just look at the questions and do nothing with them. Go away, sit down, write them down. Write down your reasons, write down what's stopping you, and what true decision can you make for yourself. These are starting points to help you move forward and to help you think differently. When you are in mind conflict, that is, you've got two things going on. Some part of you wants to move forward, and part of you is hanging on to the way things were. I've gone off track. So you've started eating to this week on Tuesday. You had some cake at the office. There was a leaving do. You say, "Oh, I've started, so I'm going off track, so I might as well carry on." Ooh, cake! But your other side of you is saying self-care is important. I want to be healthier. When you've got that conflict, you're going to have some resistance. So find your way to remove that conflict. And some of the things I'm going to share with you will help you to get yourself in that mindset to start resolving some of those conflicts. I'll talk about, if you do go off track, what you can do anyway. I always say, just carry on where you left off. Carry on back to your eating plan. Carry on back to your exercise plan, whatever it is. But just carry on. Don't say, "Oh, I'm going to give up." Just keep trying. That's a quick tip. Habits. We form habits. We form habits with what we eat, what we drink, how we exercise, whether we do or not, how we sleep, what time we go to bed, our thoughts, our helpful or unhelpful thoughts. Now, habits are very powerful things. For the most part, you're probably on this webinar because you've got yourself into habits that do not serve you well. So think about habits as creating action steps. So they are either helpful or not. So think about the habits that you want to change and that you want to really implement in your life to become new habits. Don't do them all at once. I'll talk about that later. Pick one thing that you want to change. And for this, we're going to suggest you start with your eating plan, but change one thing at a time. Don't try and do everything at once. But you see the list, you choose what is the simplest way for you to start your wellness journey. Habits are the path of least resistance. So habits are just basically, as I said, things that you do every day, whether it's eating, sleeping, drinking, thoughts. All those things are your habits. Now, the path of least resistance is the path that you tread on mostly. So it's no longer over ground. It's easy to walk down. The path of least resistance is the easiest. The other path, the one that you don't tread often, is overgrown with brambles and sticks and trees and stuff. So it's a metaphor. So often the habits that we choose that aren't, whether they're helpful or not, are the ones we do regularly. If you want to change something, then you'll have to create a new path of least resistance. So you want to start doing a new habit, which might be difficult at first, but once you start doing it regularly and then it becomes a habit, then it will be your new path of least resistance. So if eating is your thing, then choose the healthier eating option, and make that your new path of least resistance. That, you know, you can do that with each of those things I suggested: your eating, your sleeping habits, and your exercise. There are no quick fixes. Sylwia's already gone through what you need to do, what you can do, how you can replace things. So don't think about the cabbage. What's that 3-week cabbage diet, which is just, I don't know, crazy. Just think about baseline foundations for good health. Think about long term. Think about lifetime lifestyle choices. So as Sylwia's already mentioned, the 80-20 rule, that's going to keep coming up. Talk about the 80-20 rule. Get to the stage where you are eating really well 80% of the time, and 20% of the time you can still have some choices, but maybe those choices will actually change. Maybe you won't want them anymore. Maybe you won't crave them anymore. So you're just trying to implement, you're not trying, you are implementing new lifestyle choices. Fall in love with yourself again. Fall in love with how making yourself feel good is a wonderful thing, and not with quick fix things like chocolate and sugary things and caffeine and alcohol. Fall in love with yourself again, that you can have a baseline. Go for the things that make you feel better for longer. So good, healthy, lovely, wonderful, good tasting, balanced diet will make you feel better for longer. It's about your health. Fall in love with your health again. Fall in love with looking after yourself and your self-care. And helpful thoughts. We've become addled with unhelpful thoughts. It's the natural way we are these days. We used to be more helpful and kinder to ourselves and kinder to others. Start to think how you can change your thoughts as well, so that they are much more helpful to looking after yourself and helpful to others. We're starting a revolution here. We're starting a feel-good revolution. That's what we're aiming for. Feel good about yourself and make other people feel good about themselves. SMART goals. The saying that the average person spends more time planning their annual holiday than they do life goals. Think about your life goal. Think about your big goal that you're here for, you're on this webinar for, your motivational factor. What is it that you want to achieve? Create your goal. Your goal must be specific, measurable, action-oriented, relevant, or some people use the word realistic, or time-bound. Think about that in terms. Write down your SMART goal, your big goal. And before that, you're going to start doing micro goals. So implement a small change each week, each day, whatever that works for you, until you bed that down so it becomes a new habit and it's your new path of least resistance. So for instance, say you want to move more, you want to exercise more. Currently, 0 times to the gym, currently 0 exercise, currently 0 walking. For instance, make a plan, put it in your diary. My goal is where I'm going to, in the next month, do some exercise at least twice a week. Put it in your diary. That's your micro goal to helping you to achieve perhaps your SMART goal would be going to the gym 4 times a week. So start going twice a week, micro goal. Once you've nailed that down, then you can up the ante and start going in. And then that starts to become your new habits towards your SMART goal, towards your ultimate goal. Preparation and planning is key. Shopping lists. Don't go to the supermarket without knowing what you want to buy. Don't go to the supermarket hungry. Schedule things in. Choose time. Instead of sitting on the couch on a Sunday afternoon watching, I'm not saying don't watch trashy movies ever again, watching trashy soaps or whatever. Take 20 minutes of that time to schedule your week. What's going on in the week? What could stop you from what could stop you from achieving what you want this week? Have you got a late meeting? Have you got an early start? What do I need to schedule or plan into those days? What food do I need to do? So what food do I need to cook or buy or create? Think about that and plan ahead. Recipes are great. We're giving you a wonderful, I'm giving the game away, but we've got a great PDF for you with some lovely, wonderful recipes to start you off on your journey. So look up some recipes, buy the things that you want to use to make those recipes for during the week. You can also batch cook, freeze things for the days that you're in a hurry. And then when you leave the house in the morning, just take them out of the freezer. When you come home, it's ready to reheat. So you've got to go. So you've got no excuses really for not eating and planning and eating well. Choose time. It's part of that schedule thing. Choose time. We're all busy, but to create that healthy lifestyle balance, we must choose time. We have that option. You can say, I don't have time. You do. You just have to choose wisely. Visualization, mental imagery. One of the greatest things I find is to think about what I want in the long term. So I really create this picture in my head, and this is something you can do. When you have your goal, what are you doing? What do you look like? What do you feel like? What are you wearing? Where are you? Who's with you? All those types of things. So before you go to bed at night, instead of using tablets or smartphone and checking your Instagram account, just make that time, put the phone away, put the phone in another room or something, use something else as an alarm clock. Visualize your picture, your dream, your motivational factor. Make that, see, I'm closing my eyes and I'm imagining it myself. Make that your motivational factor. Allow that to support you in your journey of what you want. And let that be what you ruminate, or your brain marinates overnight, each night. And that's what you think about, and that's what you want. Create that picture in your head so it really supports you achieving your goal. Here is a mindset for action plan. These are some of the things that you can do immediately after leaving this session. What is your motivational factor? Along with some of the other things we've said or what Sylwia said earlier. What is your motivational factor? Write your motivational factor down. Make your why big. Make your why bigger than anything that you want for yourself. Make it huge so that you focus on that. Make it huge in your mind and your focus. Your mind support is equally as important as your physical support. So look after your mind as well as you look after your body. What can you do to do the two? How can you support these both together equally? 80-20 rule. Start thinking along those lines. It might be completely new to you, but get that into your system. Think one new habit at a time. Don't try and do multiple things all at once so that you mess up. Just think one new habit at a time. Remember when you started to, might not remember this, you started to walk, you started to talk, driving a car, writing. You had to do it slowly. You had to build up and you had to become an expert. Don't think about becoming an expert overnight, because that's when, once you start perhaps failing or not being good at it, you start thinking, oh, I'm not good at this, so I'm going to go back to my old habits. Choose one habit at a time and nail that down. Think mindful eating. When you go to reach for that piece of cake or that packet of crisps or those crackers, do you really want it? Are you hungry? What did Sylwia say? Water. Have a herbal tea, or have an apple, or have another piece of fruit. Have something else. Take your mind off it. Think about what you're eating. Think about why you're eating. And again, remember, new skills take time. It's okay. So if you're ready for action, that's the end of my piece. What we'd like to move you on to is, if you are ready for action and you want some support and help, we've got this amazing exclusive webinar option. I'm just going to take you off on mute, Sylwia. We've got this amazing offer for you, and it's an exclusive webinar offer. We're running it at the moment, and you will receive, to get you started on this journey, 2 one-to-one nutritional consultation sessions, an initial one and then a follow-up to see how you're going, but Sylwia will explain that a little bit more in a second. 3 mindset coaching sessions, which is a steal. Really, I'll get into the heart of what's going on for you, and we'll put some plans, tools in place to help you on your journey. So that's the amazing offer we've got for you. The nutrition side of things, I'll obviously talk about the mindset things, but nutrition, what can they expect from you, Sylwia?
Yeah, so one-to-one are very, very good to address your individual needs, right? We are so different. So having a nutrition consultation is a great way to address imbalances, your hormonal imbalances, right? Your digestive issues and so on. So we set you up. So I set you up with a specific bespoke program for you that will help you, your body to achieve whatever goals you are addressing the underlying issues that you may have. So that way we can tackle whatever bugs you, so we can increase whatever whatever your goal is. So as Rosemary was saying, what you would like to achieve, I will be able to help you support your body to achieve that. Yes.
Fantastic. And for the mindset area, obviously the way you think, you can't implement changes if you still think the way you've been thinking. You will have to instigate new perspectives, let's call it, which will allow you to take different types of action. So that's what I'm really strong at, getting to the heart of what's going on up here in your mindset, your thoughts, and really identifying what is getting in your way, and we make positive changes together. They will create healthier habits. Part of it will be stress management, because you'll start thinking differently, and it's amazing when it happens. It just starts, you'll suddenly realize that you feel differently about life and what you previously stressed about, and it will make a complete difference, and you won't even realize that it's happened. It will just be seamless. Prioritizing self-care, putting yourself at the top of that rung, that ladder, and I'll be your accountability partner, which means what you say you're going to do, you will do. So we've got this Invest in Yourself package, which is £299. We're running it at the moment for this price. If you work with us separately, it would cost over £599, over £600. And that's not a lie. Anyone who's worked with us will know that's true. So if you want to, get in there, and we'll give you the details of how you can take up this offer and really get started on your wellness journey, which is our passion. It's our passion project to really help you get started and just to keep going. So I told you what you'll get. So if you want that, you sign up today, and this is the address. This is the email address, sylwia.razak@gmail.com. So email Sylvia, and she'll start you on your nutritional journey. She'll start you with your session to get you started on your eating plan. Once you've booked in with Sylvia, we'll get you started, and we'll book you in for your first mindset coaching program. If you've never done anything like this before, I really, really recommend it if it's something you've been struggling with and you are absolutely 100% ready to take action. Please don't sit on the fence. Just email if you are really, really interested in making that change and you want some support and guidance from the two experts who are here championing for you.
Yeah, I think there is no better way to address your body and then your mindset together. That's where you can really have amazing changes, amazing results. Because that's what's happened sometimes, that I have loads of clients who have a plan, but the motivation goes out the window sometimes because they don't they don't know the why, they don't know all that things that really makes it happen for you. Yeah. And then creating the habits, that's the key. If you want great results for a long time, the habits are crucial to establish. Yeah. So putting two together, it's a very powerful kind of tool to make a huge change.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much for that. So yeah, as we said, here are the contact details. And if you're listening to this at a time in the future, perhaps we don't have the special offer anymore, but please feel free to get in contact. Yeah. So we've got some questions that might relate to your specific situation that we're going to answer now. So we've got a little Q&A. So Jackie's sent in a question, and that is, we've got that. She says, what happens when you perhaps relapse, you go off track? So this is always a great one. You go on holiday. You're on holiday, the beach is lovely, you've got your sangria or whatever it is that you drink, and you're eating the bread at the table, and then you come back and your healthy eating is gone. Just start where you left off. Do exactly what you did and start again. Go to the shops whilst you're on the plane on the way back home, or once you're in the car on the way back home, wherever it is you went on holiday. Make your shopping list. Just start where you went, where you left off, and just keep going. Get back on your behavioural change cycle. Remember your motivation and keep going. There's no harm in going off track once in a while. The most amazing thing you'll do actually is when you go on holiday, you'll stop eating those things. You'll actually find the healthier eating cart. You'll go for the salads. You'll go for the things that will replenish you better. And that is what happens in the long term. You don't have that need for the cheeky foods on holiday. You have the need for wholesome foods. And that's what happens. And that's how your mindset and your body starts thinking differently. So that's a great question. Hope that helps you, Jackie. The other question was from Sonia about intolerances, which you touched on earlier, didn't you?
Yes.
So
yes. Do you know the specific question about the intolerances, or should I just in general?
Yeah, well, I think the question was about I have intolerances. So I think that's been a bugbear for her.
Yes, intolerances are very, very popular. I mean, not popular, but very common, I would say. Yeah. Very common. And the biggest offender is usually dairy and gluten, but could be anything, really. Could be anything. With time, people will get more. You will get more intolerances because it all happens in a gut. So we call it as a leaky gut syndrome. So where the gut becomes leaky, porous, and undigested protein will get into the bloodstream, and the body will start reacting to it. So that's how it happens. So with intolerances, the focus comes to the gut, and then supporting and healing the gut, and the intolerances goes away. So that's what you need to do with nutritional therapists. I mean, you can take out the foods that people are, you feel intolerant to, but it needs to be, some work needs to be done on the gut just to heal it.
That's a really good answer, Sylwia, because I hear lots of people removing foods from their diet completely and not actually getting to the root cause of why they're, and that's a really good answer. That's the best answer I've heard, actually.
Oh, really? Yes.
Look at the
definitely,
gut.
exactly. Looking at the gut and what's causing the intolerances, because there's always, the root cause. There's always so it's important to address that, and then the intolerances will go away.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic, and so thanks, and that's something you can obviously help with. So
yes, absolutely,
that's great, and thank you. So. Right, that's it. We're at the end. If we've got your email address, as a thank you, we'll be sending you our amazing PDF with lots of recipes and tips on what you can do to change your eating lifestyle and your mindset. It does include a portion on mindset, so you can start thinking differently. If you do want a copy of the PDF and we do not have your email address, so you're watching this somewhere else, send an email to either myself or Sylwia with the email addresses that we provided, and we will get you this PDF as well. And it's a great document for helping you on your journey. But otherwise, please feel free to get in touch and sign up to the program. We're really here to help you, and we want to get you started on your wellness journey. So anything more to add? No.
I think yes. I'm very excited to work with you. So get in touch, and then let's make those changes. And
fantastic. Wonderful.
Achieve those goals you have.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.